Everybody Hates Rand is a Wheel of Time podcast that will contain spoilers for all 14 books. So if you're anti-spoiler, pause this, read all 14 books, and come back. We'll be here, waiting.
Our title is a joke and is meant to be taken as such. In the context of this podcast, everybody refers to us and our cat. You are free to feel however you want about Rand, who is a fictional character. Don't DM us.
The world is a mess, Dark One stretching out his hand. The dragon's reborn, the fire's been fanned, but everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand.
Okie dokie.
How did your ribs turn out?
They were a culinary failure, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
I learned lessons, I think. I'll have to think about it. But it's okay.
I think you're very brave to cook so many new things all the time.
Thanks, I try new things, but, mostly because I like eating out, and especially I love the memory of eating out in these trying times, but there lingers in my head the thought, now if I could make this just as good at home, maybe I could do that instead. But, it's all good, people. Yeah. They tasted good. It's just the texture was all wrong.
Oh, that's yucky.
Yeah, so I don't know if I overcooked or undercooked or what. I mean, I know they were safe to eat because I am the heir apparent to the meat thermometer dynasty. I shouldn't say that. I'm not the heir apparent because Chris does not believe in nepotism. So.
Would you really want to run the meat thermometer company?
No. No.
Exactly.
Not at all. Everything about it seems terrible. I mean, it's better than some businesses, I suppose, but imagine working in Utah County for the rest of your life.
I thought heir apparent was when, like, you selected your heir and they were your heir by birth. I was looking this up because I wanted to use the phrase heir apparent in something I was writing.
Ooh.
And then I Googled it, and it was like, that means you've been selected. And I was like, no.
Oh.
So maybe I just don't know, but
I guess I thought it meant the person next in line,
that's what I thought, too.
but it means the person who has been
I don't know.
selected beyond the born heir.
I think it's used more in, like, a business context now, like you are the heir apparent. Maybe I just didn't Google hard enough.
Oh, no, I believe you.
I've also been very foggy this week, so.
Yes, Ellie's had a very bad headache today and other days this week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to wrap you in blankets and put you in front of the television.
Thanks.
We approached the table to record as though approaching the executioner's block. Which is not to say we don't like you guys. It's just sometimes it's harder than others.
Yeah, some days it's just, like, the level of energy required to be an entertainer, if I may, reach so high.
If I may use the illustrious career path. Tom Maryland would not approve of us as entertainers.
Probably not, but that'd be a good mark of success for me if Tom Maryland didn't like me.
I don't know. Tom Maryland.
Rotten hell.
I mean, he probably would like you because you're 20-something and he's a
Gross.
creepy bastard.
Barf, 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 barf. Oh, today I was in a meeting which went poorly for about 7,000 different reasons. The first one being that I don't think I got a full sentence out the entire meeting without being interrupted. But they were talking about having movie nights in a certain context, and someone in the meeting was like, yeah, for people who don't drink, like, we could have a Frozen night for underage girls. And I was like, but did you have to say it like that?
Underage girls?
It's like, did you have to use that phrase?
You can say children.
Yeah.
Or minors under the legal drinking age.
Yeah, it was just,
girls.
I was just like, ew.
Yeah,
and it was a man who said
he's
it.
Used that word in other contexts. Gross.
Yeah, and so I was like,
I know, the older I get, the more I'm like, I saw a really funny Tumblr post. It was just an image of, like, some big truck at a gas station, and on the back in, like, really shitty graphic design, you know, sticker, it said, "Save a deer, hunt a pedophile."
Excellent.
And I was like, you know, the older I get, the more appealing that seems to me.
Yeah, I want to get that sticker for my car.
I know, I think it would be really funny when you're just
on
like,
my Subaru?
the lesbian Subaru.
I love my Subaru.
I know, I do too. Subarus are fantastic.
They're great cars.
This
Yeah.
episode's sponsored by Subaru.
I would love it if we were sponsored by Subaru. I would write an ode to my car, Susan B. Aru.
I know,
day.
I would feel like... I would really feel like I had been, like, selected as the heir apparent, as it were,
Yeah.
to the women-loving women throne.
No, man. They just got it. I'm glad that lesbians took Subarus for us.
Lesbians were like, capitalists can't have this. We are taking Subarus. Oh, the uprising.
I know. But yeah, the older I get, the more I'm like, if men so much as look at any women, but particularly minor women, I'll kill them.
I know.
I will legitimately commit a homicide.
I know. It's so rough. I'm so protective of. It's so weird to say I wasn't protective of children before, but I was a child before.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
guess.
I feel like you kind of reach a point where you no longer consider yourself a child. And for me, for some reason, that was like my early 20s rather than my like, me being 18, I wasn't like adult. It was like when I was in New York City trying to pay my taxes.
Yeah, when you
Sans
suddenly...
health insurance. I was like, fuck, I'm not child anymore.
When you suddenly don't have health insurance and
Yeah.
you're just sort of perpetually suspended over that pit of alligators, then, you're...
And I'm like, I'm not a
It
child
becomes
anymore.
pretty real.
I also, like, it sucks to say, like, it has to be, like, a personal thing for me, but now that there are, like, children in my life whom I am, like, kind of indirectly responsible for, and who I love so much, I'm like, I will commit a murder.
Yeah, my second nephew was born today. Mother and child are both doing well. My sister continues to give birth at a completely untenable
Yeah, it was like
rate.
2 hours
2
flat.
hours flat. She was feeling competitive, I guess. She'd been in a bed.
Imagine being that doctor.
I know.
She's like, I gotta get this baby out of me. And he's like, it'll come when it comes.
She's like, no, now. I mean, that is my sister. She's like that. She told us, what did she say?
She said that being pregnant was the psychological equivalent of being raised in North Korea. And I was just like, okay. It was pretty funny.
She's the dramatic child in the family, obviously. But anyway, my nephew was born today, and I was looking at the little video of him fresh out of the womb.
He's so cute.
Crying. And I was like, I would literally burn down everything for this child and my other child.
Yeah.
Like...
That love you feel is so intense.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah. I just think kids are cute.
They sure are. This is Everybody Hates Rand, Friendly Neighborhood Wheeltime Podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm here.
And Sally's here more
physically.
On the physical plane, on the material plane. Elsewhere, she's, I don't know, haunting someone.
I don't want to be haunting anyone. I'm reading that book and there's so many ghosts.
There are some interesting ghosts. That's a weird book.
Oh.
I still don't know how I feel about it.
Oh, if I read it and we can talk about it.
Hell yeah. Why do I never... I've done this 117 times? This is the 117th time I've done this, and yet I still do not know how to appropriately transition between the introduction of the podcast and talking about the actual chapters.
Well, here's a good segue. I didn't read them.
It's my cross to bear. Not that you didn't read them, but
I mean, it is her cross to bear. But again, we've had this conversation, but the Wheel of Time books are my enemy when I have headaches because the print is just so small.
I mean, all you missed out on really was a pretty good map.
Yeah, and I'm sad. I might read it just for the laughs.
Just for fun.
But because he's just getting rubbed down by his sexy ale lady.
Yeah, it's very, it's pretty wild, actually. This scene starts with Matt nude, giving a nude massage.
Good for him.
from his girlfriend, like a back massage. And I'm like, it's such a sexual... It's a scene with such sexual undertones. Not that nudity is inherently sexual, but because they have been sleeping together, and just the way it's described, the way that Melindra is commenting on Matt's physique. She slaps his ass at one point.
Good for her.
Good muscle, she says. But it's like an inherently sexual scene, and yet the narrative goes out of its way to clarify that this is not a post-coital activity, that this is just something they're doing. So it's sort of trying to strip away the sexual context. It's very... I will never really quite be able to get a handle on Robert Jordan's strange relationship to writing about sexual relationships, because it seems like he can only really lean into anything obliquely sexual when it's between two characters who are quote-unquote endgame, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the only sex scenes that work, and I use that word very loosely because I think they're all a little off. It's just not one of Robert Jordan's strong suits, but it's like, it only, like, works or seems like it is comfortable in the narrative when there's like it's standard in some way, like it's between a man and a woman and they're going to end up in some sort of like monogamous or long-term relationship. It's never just like casual sex. Is just like can be as beautiful and intimate and wonderful as Rand and his 3 wives or whatever.
Yeah. It's just odd. I mean, obviously there is a chapter earlier in this book where Matt and Melindra are 100% post-coital, but it's like, again, Matt's just been attacked in that scene.
Yeah.
And he immediately sort of stumbles into this buffoonery of trying to get his pants on while Moiraine is trying to heal him from his injury. So it's just, like, odd to me that for such a sexual character, in Matt especially, he's not allowed to have any happy sex on screen.
Yeah, and, like, this book is when we first start, like, canonically, so to speak, rather than it just being hinted at, seeing Matt as, like, a character that's sexually active. And it's very, like, interesting that each of his, like, sex scenes with Melindra are, like, interrupted in some way, as if to just kind of, it's just kind of a little heavy-handed that, like, she's not a person he should be sleeping with because she is evil.
Yes.
And it's like they get attacked every time they bone.
Oh my god, yeah, you're so right. Or, you know, have naked massages.
Yeah, or are being, like, intimate with one another.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, don't let her touch you, the Trollocs are coming.
Right. So I always remember, don't let her touch you, the Trollocs are coming. It's like sex ed in Wheel of Time. If you have sex, you will get attacked by Trollocs and die. This scene I always remember as being one of the few, again, I know the narrative goes out of its way to strip away the sexual context, but a sexually adjacent scene that I found to be, you know, fine.
Yeah.
Pleasant. But reading it this time, it struck me how much, even though Matt is in a state of relaxation, physical relaxation, he is uncomfortable. It says that in the narrative. He's uncomfortable because he's aware that, like, he's been positioned as Melindra's boyfriend, sort of thing, or, like, exclusive lover, and that is not what he wanted from the situation. And he's trying to figure out where he, or if he misstepped culturally. He's like, it seems to come back to the fact that I gave her a gift early on, but I've given lots of women, including maidens, gifts, and this has never been the direct result. So he's just kind of unsure of what's going on. And he keeps asking Melindra kind of anxiously, are you the daughter of the nine, do you know the daughter of the 9 moons? And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he's just like, kind of sketched out by it. So that's, like, odd.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a running theme with Matt that an exclusive relationship of any kind he finds to be oppressive and is eager to escape them. Sometimes because those relationships are completely oppressive. They're rape. With Melindra, we're never given to believe that Melindra and Matt, prior to Melindra revealing herself to be a dark friend, have anything unhealthy, except that it's sort of hinted at that there's a communication problem, and that Matt did not necessarily want this. So, don't really know how to conclude that. It's just a troubling thing, I noticed.
Yeah, no, I don't think I grasped that on my first read of the chapter of the book.
Imagine if you had to read every chapter over and over and over again. I know, that's hell for me, Sisyphus.
Which would be the worst Wheel of Time chapter to read over and over again.
Oh, that's a really tough,
Yeah.
There's sex at glue, but there's also so many other bad ones.
Every parent point of view.
Every parent point of view. The one with the land fear. Yeah, the one where parents spanks fail.
Barf.
Barf.
Barf, barf, barf.
I know, it's so... It's just like I'll get to Hades or whatever, and I'll sit in front of the judges, and they'll be like, for your sins as a Wheel of Time podcast co-host, you will have to do this terrible task. But then I'll appear in Camp Half-Blood or whatever.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm just excited over the live-action Percy Jackson television.
Me too.
Exciting news. Anyway, I'm sorry I cut you off with my rich narrative about the afterlife.
It was very good for your sins as a Wheel of Time podcast host. I don't remember what I was saying. Now I'm thinking about Percy Jackson. I should reread that series.
Just that we didn't catch it the first time we read it.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch it the first time that I read it. I think because I was just like so excited for Wheel of Time to be presenting like a form of sexual attraction that like appealed to me, that wasn't necessarily like it's comparatively very easy between Matt and Melindra, opposed to like all of the Wheel of Time relationships that are like murdering each other, like Rand and Aviendha, who cannot just be normal about their attraction to one another.
Yeah, the gender dynamics don't seem to be as much of a sticking point.
Yeah, and it's also just like a really, like, I love, like, though this scene is complicated in a lot of ways, like, it's really nice to have like a scene presented between like two people who are sexually active with one another, but like they're not necessarily like engaging in sexual behaviors. Like, it's very nice to see people who are attracted to one another and intimate without there being like a sexual end to it. It's just like two people like enjoying each other's company and enjoying each other's bodies without there being like a direct route to orgasm.
Right.
So it's just, like, very lovely in that context, and I think I got swept away in that fantasy.
Did you know Melindra was evil the first time you read this book?
No.
It came at you?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it came at me, too. I
just can't even remember.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was surprised, especially because, spoiler alert, Matt murders her.
No, that's a really shocking and upsetting scene. It's like, literally the only scene in the Wheel of Time where a man kills a woman and is upset about it that I am also upset about it.
I'm like, oh my god.
I know, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That's so traumatizing.
Why is Matt's sex life so fucked up?
I don't know.
I mean, all their sex lives are fucked up in various ways.
But, I mean, I didn't reread it, but it is upsetting to think about Matt being uncomfortable. Because I feel like he's just always made to be uncomfortable, and I don't get it.
It's weird. It's like, it's not written to seem as though he's uncomfortable, except that there's literally a line that says something like he was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then talks about why he's upset by the situation. It's weird.
Because I do feel like it's another instance where, like, Matt's discomfort is played off for jokes. Like, Aviendha and the Maidens were just laughing about how Matt's been made Melindra's boy toy, basically.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend, and he's like, I really just would like to have a fuck buddy, and that should be, like, totally fine.
Yeah, I would just like to be ethically non-monogamous.
Don't we all?
Yeah, seriously.
It's my dream, baby.
Come on.
But a pandemic is getting in the way of my romantic fantasies.
But, otherwise, complicated things aside, it's a fairly cute scene. Melindra's like, you're short. And Matt's like, literally only an ale will call me short.
It's like, what, what, 5'10", 5'11"?
Yeah, he's
a
like
normal-sized boy.
he says every other place I've been in, I've been tall.
Yeah.
Like, not by much, usually. Not like Rand looming above everyone, but I'm not,
Not
a
baby.
shorty, which I think is a tragedy. I think Matt should be
5 foot flat.
5 foot flat, 5'8" or something like that.
Nope, 5 feet.
I just love...
I do love a short boy.
I love a short
but
boy.
I also love a tall boy.
Have I told you that in my favorite book series, the Foxhole Court, literally the love interest is 5 feet flat?
Yeah, you've told me that.
That's buck wild.
He's
to me.
little.
And they are like, he's a midget. But I'm like, we're not calling enough attention to the fact that he is 5 feet even.
Yeah, this is very small.
That's so small.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like children. There are children who would loom above him. And I do love that visual given the character. But anyway,
what a hero.
yeah, Melindra slaps his ass. Da-da-da-da. Suddenly there's like a bird noise.
Yeah.
And Matt is like, it's a Two Rivers bird because Rand is unimaginative, I guess. Signaling that there is an attack on the portion of the camp where Matt and Melindra's tent is. So Melindra just rushes out of the tent, buck naked, grabs her veil, of course, because that shit's important. Matt gets on his shoes and pants.
Yeah.
And has a moment where he looks back at the medallion and is like, Shadow Spawn don't usually channel, but I know the Black Aja are a thing. Moiraine got super mad at me when I asked about it, but I do know that. So he grabs his medallion. So you have this lovely image of Matt running around shirtless with but his necklace covered in blood, etc.
God.
The thing my sex dreams are made of.
I do like the image, though, of his, medallion and his beautiful chiseled chest, as Melindra just told us. He's very muscular.
She told us his ass is muscular.
The rest of him is just concave. He just got that dump truck ass.
But it's, your typical action sequence. Matt's running around killing folks.
Yeah.
The enemies there are humans with the Trollocs and Murdrol. Dark friends who are like, Samael, and the Golden Bees. And Matt's like, what the fuck? I don't really get. I, as a person who has never been in a staged battle, don't really understand I understand the necessity of identifying yourself to your allies.
Yes.
But I don't really know why your battle cry would be designating who you're with.
Yeah.
You would think the point would be to create confusion.
Yeah.
And of course that's a plot point later where Asmodean's like, I don't think it's really Samael, I think it's one of the other Forsaken trying to get you to think it's Samael. And Rand's like, or maybe it's Samael trying to make me think one of the Forsaken is trying to,
And Asmodean's like, I'll fucking kill you.
And I'm like, wouldn't it just be as confusing if these were just some total randos?
Yeah. It had nothing to do with any of the Forsaken.
Or didn't proclaim their allegiances to anyone.
They were just in and out. Like a
flash.
flash.
Oh, dang.
With all those Trollocs.
But Matt does fight a Murdrol and kill it, which is notable only in that it sort of marks, for each of the boys, the first time they kill a Murdrol sort of marks the moment when Shadow Spawn, quote-unquote, stop being threats to them. Mm-hmm. In the typical sense, this is when we sort of lose our sense of danger around Trollocs or Murdrol.
Yeah.
Though in a realistic, in the real world, just because you've killed one type of creature once doesn't mean the next one won't kill you.
Yeah, it's like I can't just kill a bear and assume that, a poisonous spider won't kill me.
Or, you kill a bear and then you're invulnerable to bear attacks for the rest
of
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Leonardo DiCaprio killed that bear in that movie, and now he just,
Yeah, he can go wherever he wants. The bears won't bother him.
Cage fight bears all the time.
Yeah, and he'll always win.
He'll always win. Bear fighter.
I've been thinking constantly about that scene in My Hero Academia where Overhaul is just in, an MMA cage, and it's, not explained to us what's going on. Yeah.
And then we're like, what?
I'm like...
One day I'll read the manga and find out what's going on.
Why is Overhaul in a fight cage?
Shirtless.
Yeah.
Homie hates germs.
Yeah.
I just don't... It's the whole thing where they're like, oh, and she's his daughter, and I'm like, Overhaul does not fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about?
You can't wear a mask like that and have people assume you have sexual activities.
I know, if just someone in that meeting If fucking Aizawa
was like, no.
I don't buy it. Look at him. That's a dude with so many issues. No way he fucks.
No, if only Mike would have been in that meeting, he would have.
Mike would have said.
Mike would have been like, hold on.
Mike's the only one who's not a coward.
Okay, there's your My Hero Academia interlude. We're both a little obsessed with it right now.
Yeah, I refuse to apologize. But Matt kills this murderer, then the battle effectively is over. And Melindra's like, oh, well, that was good of you. He's like, yeah, thanks. There's like, they were having a conversation about how he's quote-unquote in Rand's shadow, which sort of gives you the bad vibes because it's so similar to what Lanfear said to Rand in books 2 and to a lesser extent 4, that you need to get glory and, you know, make yourself a great man. Except that then Melindra says, you're a great guy. You're a great enough man. Like, you killed Virgil. That's pretty fucking
That's
fucking
like,
cool.
thanks.
Yeah, I'm pretty horny right now. And Matt's like, hell yeah.
Me too.
Me too. And they go to the tent, presumably to fuck or to enjoy each other in some other lovely way. Until she turns out to be evil and betrays him. Then we switch over to Rand, also as he hears the alarms and rushes out of his tent, but he sees the battle is far away. The maidens who were his bodyguards have rushed off to engage in the battle. He's just like, okay, see ya. I mean, he says they probably predicted that I would have told them, I would have held them back. Because Rand, of course, tries to protect all the women in his immediate vicinity, regardless of whether they want to be protected. So they ran off. And are, of course, punished for that later. Don't worry, the narrative will always punish women for exercising agency.
It's the one thing you can always count on.
Yep. So the Wheel of Time, promise to you, when you pick up a Wheel of Time book, you swear a blood oath with it.
We will together punish women.
Avienda, of course, runs out of the tent after Rand, or comes out after him, and he sees like a drag car, whatever, however you say those, the creepy bird dementor things, behind her, and Bale fires it. And she's like, oh, what the shit? She turns around and immediately throws fire at him, which anyone who has any trope savviness knows because there's something behind him. But Rand flips the fuck out, does not look behind him, but is like, what the fuck are you doing? How dare you? What have I done to make you hate me so much? Gets all up in her face about it. And she's like, okay, maybe I should have let you die. And is like, Exhibit A. And he's like, oh, I did it bad. She's like, fuck you, and goes to the tent.
Is she naked when she comes out?
She's wrapped in a blanket.
Okay.
Rand says. So, sort of, it's like not even worth commenting on. It's just Rand being a misogynist asshole as usual.
Yeah.
Like, why would you
think that Avienda would kill you right now?
throw a ball of fire at your head?
Like, what?
Like, and then why would you have sex with her 6 or 7 chapters from now?
Yeah, if that's really what you thought.
If you are that distrusting of a person, I mean, horny brain, but whatever.
But, yeah, just, like, don't fuck people that you don't trust. I'm tired of it.
It's so exhausting.
Yeah. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, it's bad. But then Rand is afraid to go back in his tent because he's like, Avienda could be naked in there, and God forbid I see a naked woman, despite the fact that nudity is not an issue amongst the Ale and should not be for you, Rand, because bodies are just bodies.
Yeah.
It's all about context, people.
Yeah.
You just yelled at her, and you're like, oh no, I might get horny when I see her boobs. It's like, the logic there, my man. But then Egg comes up and is like, some drag car. And Rand's like, yeah, I can't go in the tent because Avienda's probably naked. And Edwin's like, fuck you. And goes in the tent too. Fuck Avienda, obviously.
Of course. Very loudly.
Yeah, in my fantasy, this is what's happening. Moiraine and Lan also come up and have the briefest conversation of all time, wherein Rand's like, "What? You sent Shadow Spawn. Why didn't you come to say?" It's not even. He doesn't say it that straightforwardly because why
Rand
would
can't
he?
communicate.
Yeah. But he's just like, I had to kill this drag cart, and she's like, yeah, you're not my child. I assume you can do some things on your own. fucking savage. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, I did. I handled it. Avienda and I handled it. And she's like, great. I'm leaving. It's literally like, what's the point of that
Like,
conversation?
why were you here?
But no, she comes up, like, in her little dressing gown, is like, hey. And Ren's like, hey. And then she leaves again. It's like, what's happening? Someone, I don't think it's Moiraine, I think it's Egg, but, you know, maybe it was Moiraine. It gives Ren the report that the enemies were like, Samuel, Golden Beast, blah, 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 blah. And Ren's like, oh, duck. Scary.
Yeah.
Then, because he's still afraid to go in his tent, he goes to find Asmodean, and they apparently discuss it for hours. Which I'm like,
What is there to discuss?
what is there to say? Asmodean's like, it's probably someone else. And Rand's like, no, I know Samael.
And Asmodean's like, no, you don't.
Asmodean's like, what? And Rand's like, the guy in my head does. And Asmodean's like, this is getting so exhausting. You're the worst to deal with.
Yeah.
Are you or are you not a person with memories of your past life?
Yeah.
Rand's like, well, they come and go, you know? Can't really control them. I just know this. I know Samael's a bastard. And Asmodean's like, he's literally one of the Forsaken.
Yeah, it's kind of a prerequisite.
Yeah, you have to be a bastard.
Yeah.
If you're not a bastard, you can't become one of the Forsaken. What if that was a rule, like, legally? You had to be a child of illegitimate birth.
That'd be amazing.
Jon Snow's like, fuck yeah, finally.
Barf, I don't want Jon Snow to get any pleasure in his miserable, greasy life.
I mean, he doesn't,
Good.
but I hope.
I just
At
think
least that
he's
seems to be how the show ended.
so pathetic and
It really
whiny.
is. It's the worst television show. Sorry, I think I'm allergic to my lotion.
Do you want some different lotion? I have many kinds.
No, when I stop using the lotion, my hands stop itching, so ironically, I stop feeling the need for lotion.
Okay.
Therefore,
Okay.
it's been a hard few days for me.
It's been a hard knock life.
For us. But we next cut to Egg's point of view in the next chapter as the army, Rand's many forces, are leaving the Jengai Pass and coming out into Kyrian. This is the first time that Edwin and Matt and Rand and them have been out of the Ale Waste in months. We're not sure how long exactly, but several months at least.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Like at least a month.
Like at least a month, I'd say, between... They did a lot of traveling between Ruidaean and
The bowl.
the Golden Bowl, and then they would have had to travel back to Ruidaean, so I'd say like 2 months. 2-3 months tops. So, like, yeah, it's weird to suddenly be back in a place where, like, grass grows.
Yeah.
Egg's like, what the fuck? She does also note that it's clearly a dry season because it's summer, but there's more, like, brown spots than usual, which is, again, our first hint toward, oh no, the unnatural summer.
Oh no.
Oh no. Cool summer.
Yeah, it's a good song.
That is a good song. I used to listen to it. My dad had a Bananarama album.
This is my favorite Chris
I think
factoid.
it's so funny.
Like, of all the weird things Chris Jusha has done in his life, that one is my
I had a
favorite.
Bananarama album. We also just had like Sting and the Police.
Yeah, that was Becky, though, right? She loved Sting.
Well, they both do.
Oh, okay.
They both had separate Sting albums in their cars.
Good.
I know.
Good.
So weird. My dad likes Englishman in New York. I'm an Englishman in New York. Wow. I know way too much about Sting because of my parents. U2, that's my dad's other fave. That dude fucking loves Bono. He's the only one in the world to love Bono.
It's very odd.
Yeah, I know.
It's very weird.
He doesn't really love Bono. He loves the drummer.
I don't know
His
who
name
the drummer
escapes me.
is, yeah.
It's like some wild thing that's like, hold on, it's gonna
Just
bother
like
me.
some extremely Irish name.
No, it's like he has a nickname that starts with like the.
Oh,
You know, he's like the something.
that's silly.
U2 drummer.
Cool summer.
I mean, he does have an extremely Irish name. He's Larry Mullen Jr.
It's very good.
What's his name?
The drummer? That's his name. The drummer.
I swear to God, this is gonna bother me. Or, no, it's not the drummer.
Ah, well, there's our first problem. It's not actually the drummer.
The Edge.
No, it isn't.
It's legitimately the Edge.
No, it can't be. That's very silly.
Which is so weird. Yeah.
So you think Bono walks up and is like, hey, the Edge?
I hope so. Hey, the Edge.
I mean, it's hard to believe Bono speaks to other people.
I know, he just sort of looks at the world aloofly through his literal rose-tinted glasses.
I didn't think we'd get to the point of dunking on Bono in this episode.
Listen, Bono exists to be dunked on.
No, that's totally fine. Just if I'd predicted how this episode was gonna start out, I would not have taken the path to dunking on Bono.
But I took the path less traveled.
And that made all the difference.
Just one more thing about Bono. Have you seen that tweet that's like, it's like a tweet or a Tumblr post that's like, I've heard that when Bono heard Take Me to Church, he laid down in the road and waited to die because he knew he could never write something that good.
I hope he did.
I know, it would show a surprising amount of self-awareness for Bono. Yeah.
Don't sue me, Hosier.
Obviously, the town at the other end of Shanghai Pass, to get back to the plot, was also brutally attacked, but we linger less on that. There's just a whole people impaled on spikes sort of thing, like unto Castlevania.
Ugh, yeah.
A show that we watched at the beginning of quarantine that feels like we watched years ago.
I know. The first, month of quarantine, we made some odd choices.
I think everyone did.
Castlevania, Tiger King, Band of Brothers?
Yeah, we were in a weird spot.
It's okay, though.
It's okay. We got through it. And Edwin goes up to kind of join the train, the immediate coterie surrounding Rand. And overhears him talking to the AL chiefs who are like, you're telling us we can't fucking loot Kyrie N? Like, people won't stand for this if they can't take the 5th. And Rand says, oh, you can take the 5th. Literally, this chapter is titled, in quotes, the 5th I give you. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, you can take that. I'm not stopping you from that. But you cannot take food. And you cannot go lynch a bunch of Kyrianins for being Kyrianins. Like, anyone who does that, I will execute. Mm-hmm. And they're all like, oh, dang. They're all, so fucking disappointed by it. It's so troubling.
Yeah. It's like, what were you planning on doing, Ruark?
The same thing, apparently. Upsetting.
Yeah.
I forgot to close out the maidens abandoning Rand side plot.
Barf.
They come back and are like, oh, we probably shouldn't have left you because it would appear that Two Drakkar did come to assassinate you. And Rand's like, whatever, it's not a big deal. And they're like, no, you have to, do something because, our honor demands it. And he's like, I don't want to deal with this and I don't understand it, so I'll probably fuck it up. So why don't you just go talk to the wise ones? They're like, fine. And the next time we see them, they're all carrying little dolls, which is clearly the wise ones' general move whenever someone has been quote-unquote childish. Mm-hmm. Edwin, who has also been the victim of this and had to wear her hair in braids early on in her training, does not understand at all. I'm like, Robert, the cultural, break only goes so far. Mm-hmm. She's been with him a few months. She knows how it works.
Especially because it happened to her.
Yeah. Dude, homie.
She's also a very intelligent person.
I know. Robert Jordan loves to have intelligent characters who do the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
And he's still like, they're smart. And I'm like, prove it, bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway. So the AL chiefs are, mad because their bloodlust won't be sated. Or whatever. And then Egg is chatting with Avienda, and Avienda's like, I have got to get out of Rand's tent. You have got to talk to the wise ones for me. And Egg's like, yeah, I know it really upset you when he yelled in your face, justifiably. Yeah. And Avienda's like, no, it's not that. It's that I'm really horny for him, or whatever. Ah!
Yeah. Then
Soralia, icon, queen, the queen mother, rolls up and is like, hello, ladies. This is our first introduction to Soralia, who will be a character for the rest of the series.
I love her.
She's hilarious. She, I think, canonically is old enough to be someone's great-grandmother because she references here several lines of her descendants. But she's talking to Avienda, and she's like, oh, I overheard you talking about how you want to get out of something the wise ones told you to do. And they're like, no, don't worry about it. She's like, in my day, when the wise ones told apprentices to hop. They asked how high. Given I am still alive, it is therefore still my day. It's like, it's iconic. I mean, don't force people to do what they don't want to do.
Yeah, it's like...
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, she's got the whole wise one thing. She's just got, like, the, like, major big dick energy.
She has huge dick energy.
Yeah, and I love her for it.
A couple of, like, other wise ones sort of come up to, like, gossip or, like, to listen in, and Sorley is basically like, back the fuck up, bitches.
It's so good. I love her.
Get the hell out of my face. But she's chatting with Avi, and she's like, oh, is it true Rand gave you a quote-unquote regard gift in terms of, like, the sword thing? And Avi is like, no, explains the situation, and Sorelli is like, that's too bad, but I can set you up with my grandson. Or something like that.
Yeah.
And Avian is like, yeah, fine, whatever, I'll look into it when I have some time. And then when Sorelia leaves, Egg is like, are you interested in this guy? And Avian is, like, describes him, she's like, he's fucking gorgeous, but I hate him. So no, I just said that to make Sorelia go.
I hate him because I'm obviously a lesbian.
Because I'm obviously in love with you, Egg. God, if this were a queer romance, like, moments like these would be so, like,
I know.
ripe for sexual tension,
yeah.
For the, like, subtle softening of two women who are meant to be together.
Just, like, the casual hand touches.
Ah. The longing.
The longing.
The
yearning.
Ah! The fanfic. I need it. But that basically ends that. The next two chapters will also be Egg's point of view. One of them is indeed called Dreams of God.
We've all been there.
Yeah, Sally just dabbed, and it's like, yeah.
He's just so hot.
I mean, yeah, he's
got that, like, weird Christian boy thing going for him.
Oh, what a horrible way to put it. Oh, Galad. Sorry, I just, like, went on my, like, in my head, there was an imagination in which Galad was the Bachelor. Exactly.
It would be so funny.
It would be terrible. And then at the end, he'd realize he's gay.
For Matt.
Yeah.
Who plays Chris Harrison in this.
Either he's Chris Harrison or he's just, like, a camera guy.
Yeah.
I would love if Matt was the camera guy who's, like, filming scenes and, like, the camera keeps shaking because Matt's laughing. How bad they are. Someone rate the AU.
It would be so good.
It would be so good. Anyway, so that's what we'll get to next week. More Egg stuff as the Ale forces get further into Kyrian and further advance the plot, shockingly.
What?
I know. Does such a thing exist in a Wheel of Time book? Hard to say.
Somehow you get to the end and you're like, oh.
Oh, shit happened?
I don't recall.
I don't recall any of it.
I don't recall it.
But that's that. Thanks for chilling with us. Tybalt's been surprisingly mellow for the last 45 minutes, so...
Yeah. He's bound to get silly.
We'll see how long that lasts. Oh, we should get out his tunnel for him.
Oh, yeah.
He loves his tunnel.
He loves it when Emily plays with him in his tunnel, which is sad, because I bought the tunnel in hopes that he would just play with it by himself.
He does sometimes. He just sits in it.
It's pretty funny. It's like a little
And looks at
burrito
us
boy.
like,
He also just, there's like a hole in the middle and one on each end, and he'll just like sit in the middle. Or he'll like dive through the hole in the middle instead of like going through the tunnel. It's very funny.
He's a ding-dong.
You heard us talking about him. Here he comes.
Oh, hey, buddy. You gonna
want
go...
to see my little
Gonna
boy?
go munch?
Here, you want to come here?
What's this?
Is there an elastic on the ground?
Oh, it's one of my hair elasties, but
Oh, no.
I don't know how it got there. I'm usually so good at throwing them away.
Hey, do you want to come here?
He's about to start crunching, so we better wrap this up.
Crunch.
Thanks for listening. Thank you to Glenna McKenzie for our theme song. Thank you to everyone who supports us on Patreon. You've been very kind. Rate, review, subscribe, all the usual things in this time of terror when perhaps financial support is not as viable. A review would be great.
Yeah.
Or a subscription. Or a recommendation to someone you know who might tragically have read the Wheel of Time books and needs an outlet to get through that phase of their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
You can tune in for Emily's weekly Wind Waker live streams, Fridays, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That has not changed. If you want some bonus EHR content, Tybalt usually makes a cameo.
Or several.
Depending on how much he's screaming.
Yeah, how rowdy he is that night.
And yeah, just the standard stuff.
Do you have a sign off?
This isn't a particularly exciting sign-off, but for some reason my place of employment decides every year around May that turning off the air conditioning is a good way to save money. And, like, it is a good way to save money.
It's also a good way to kill people.
Yeah, because they're like, we'll just open the windows. But the aviary, like, the office building does not actually have that many windows that can open. Like, there's a lot of windows, but only some of them you can open for a breeze. But it's also like, these people who have allegedly lived in Utah all of their lives think that May and June in Utah is just sort of like a blustery, pleasant season outside.
It's not.
It's not.
So hot.
It's just like dry and miserable. So yesterday I had to go into the office to do a variety of auction things, which involved like diving into closets and climbing up on ladders and like putting things in different places. And I was so sweaty all day. And it was so yucky. And they were like, look at all the money we're saving. And I'm like, no. Killing us.
I know. How much money could they possibly be saving to make it worth it? Because they're going to have to turn the AC back on eventually, right?
Yeah, or
probably
like it
tomorrow.
Was literally unbearable, and it was only May 19th yesterday. So, May 19th? May 20th? May 19th.
Yesterday was May 19th. Today is May 20th.
Anyway, it was gross, and I hate summer. I just don't like the season.
Cruel summer. Okay.
Sweaty.
Don't do war crimes. Goodbye.